what's up? This is Kathy, and I'm back with another process video, and this one is for JustNick Studio. This was for her free love cut file that was running. This was posted on Instagram and on the blog, and I just wanted to get around to showing you guys the video for it. You can get this cut file on her shop, and it's called Free Love, and there's two versions that come with it, and they're both adorable. And I really loved the idea of trying to back it with something different. So, so I cut it out quite large. I used the heart one. There's one where there's flowers on each side instead, but you can see some of the products I've got in mind. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use when I started it, but I had different sequins, colored sequins, glitter, me fiddling around. Anyway, so there we go. So the L is filled with red sequins. The O is filled with like a large pink glitter. The V is filled with white iridescent sequins. And the E is actually filled with, I'm not sure what you would call it, but it was actually sequin iron-on like edging that was at Michael's. And it was just like a strip. So yeah, so what I did was I took the pieces of what was cut out, so the inside of each letter, and I basically, I believe I just retraced those onto another piece of paper and cut them out just a little bit larger. And I first started with trying to glue down each sequin individually and set it up, and that was not working. So I got out like my my glass mat, so I didn't have to worry about glue, and I covered like the whole letter with glue and then put down all my sequins. That worked way better than doing it the other way. Now, then cutting off the edges of the sequins to fit around so that you didn't see parts poking out, that was a little tricky too, and in some instances the sequins kind of fell off and I had to re-glue them. And the other issue was trying to glue the outline of the love back onto the sequins. This whole process took a while. So it's all sped up and it's all nice and quick, but this is like an investment, an investment backing for a cut file. But I mean, I don't know about you guys, but looking at the video of it, for me, it was worth it. Just as much as people do, the hand stitching and different things like that. I love how this love turned out. It's so beautiful. It's so sparkly, and it just jumps off the page. I'm really happy with the colors. I think it went perfectly with this kind of simple layout that I was doing. I do hardly any embellishing because I really don't need it. And no, I'm just like, if you want to give it a try, I suggest giving it a try. Just know it is a trial and error kind of setup. Obviously doing it with the glitter, even the large glitter, works easier because you're just dumping glitter over glue. And the strip of sequin stuff, the blue, which are tiny, tiny little sequins, that also worked really well too because it was just a strip that I was gluing over. The V and the L gave me a little bit of difficulty, and you have to make sure that your outline is thick enough too, of whatever word you're doing. But other than that, this was really cool, and I made sure to cut out the middle of the O, so that part was a little tricky too. But it all worked out. It did take a while. I had to glue down like the L, and then I had to put something heavy on top to press the white outline down onto the sequins to make sure that they stuck. So anyway, I guess that's enough about that. I pretty much explained the process. I didn't show it because this literally took hours to get everything to dry, because you do have to wait for everything to dry. I used glossy accents. Now, if I had Tombow, I probably would have possibly used that instead. I just didn't have it around. Both would work fine. Anything that dries clear. Just keep in mind with glossy accents, if it gets on your sequins, you're going to kind of see that glossiness. But in the end, it did get on some of my sequins, but in the end, really didn't matter all that much because, I mean, they're sequins, they're shiny anyway. So anyway, I'm definitely going to be trying this type of cut file backing again. Just, it might not be the exact same thing, but I like the idea of it. So, and my sequins are all different sizes, but I mostly used large sequins and kind of put little ones in, like where two might meet up and they were really big, and then there was like a white space. I kind of shoved a little one under there. So that's how I did mine. I'm backing my picture with the polka dot tissue paper and putting a little bit of the very thin fun foam. The black thickers, I believe, are from a Dear Lizzie collection. I don't think it was the newest one. I think it was the one before that. So I'm writing All You Need Is Love because I've had a love, and it's Beatles, and the Beatles are like my favorite band, so why not? And the title fit in perfectly there, just because I put the picture on, like I was originally going to do this all very, the picture was going to be right in the middle, but I really liked that little banner. I don't know what you would call it. Like it looks like a medal, the little heart chipboard from the newer Heart Day crepe paper collection. So that I think I only put one other piece of chipboard on this whole layout. I don't even do ink splots on this layout. I can't believe I forgot ink splots. I may have to go back and put some on. I always top my layouts off with them. I think with this one, it was just like, it was so uniform that I didn't, oh, sorry guys. I didn't want to do it, but when I look back on it, it still seems a little bare compared to what I'm doing. And this is a really different layout for me because it's very minimal. There's no real layering. I'm not using a ton of ephemera or anything like that. I'm keeping a lot of the back white, and I'm going on an angle too, which is also kind of different for me. So this was really stretching it out of a comfort zone. But I really like how it turned out. I have these cutout hearts, and they're from a previous project, and they're just kind of laying around. So I was like, well, I've got them. Why don't I use some of them up? So I end up, in the end, I tried to put them over the whole white space and leave it like that, and I didn't like it. It was very white on white. You really couldn't see anything. So I end up, in the end, putting a piece of paper on the top too. So I'm going to use that arrow as chipboard. I'm not going to leave it there, but that's the only other piece of chipboard. And the reason I brought it in was it was blue, and I needed something else, blue or turquoise. Just because besides the E in the background in the photo, there's no other blue. This is from the new Doodlebug. Okay. I don't know what it's called. I have the products, but I don't know what the product line was called. Was it like coffee and sugar or coffee and tea or sugar? I don't know. It's super cute. It's got like donuts and cake and coffee and everything adorable. So I did think about putting those little like Hershey's Kisses in, but I just don't end up doing it because I think it's it's just nice the way it is. That's an much older paper from a few years ago, and so in that instance, I actually don't remember what collection that's from. Might be Teresa Collins. The polka dot is actually a page from Amy Tangerine's Oh Happy Life. It was half, the back of it was all rain clouds, and then the other side of it was this split down the middle diagonal. It was polka dots and like just a gray. So I took some of that. I'd used some of it on a previous layout, but anyway. So I folded my hearts so that they pop up and stuck them down, and I'm going to fiddle around where they go because they need to be random. I've talked about this before with you guys. They need to be random, but not desperately random. They need to look like I just kind of plopped them down, and they're not completely parallel to each other. They're not in a nice row or anything like that, because that just bothers me. The same with the sequins. I end up messing around with those, and I cut a lot of it out because I really do mess around with those a lot. Yeah, so I end up gluing them all down off screen, but that's what they look like. And the only other thing I'm going to do is kind of play around where I'm going to put that chipboard arrow. But yeah, I don't end up putting any ink spots. So that's about it. Nice, simple, clean little layout. And thank you guys so much for watching. Pictures are coming up, and I will see you in the next video. So have an awesome day. Bye.